Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the 2019 animated remake of the iconic kooky family, the Addams Family.
Featuring an all-star cast, this updated version shows the origins of the Addams and how their kooky way of life collides with a local suburban town.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't know what to expect for this movie because we didn't really hear anything about it after it was released in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
There were no advertisements for it. There were no critics' reviews. The next thing we know, it's out on DVD after some time because there were just no advertisements for it. So we weren't sure if it was going to be good or bad. So we'll have to find out for ourselves when we would rent the movie.
The only thing we did know is it was based on the 1930s cartoon serial that ran in the newspapers back then.
Right.
And it would look more like the original characters were drawn versus what they were translated to later in the 60s through the 2000s.
Right. And they did even say during the production that there's inspiration from all the versions.
Yes.
From the comics to the movies to the animated series. There's shout outs to all the different incarnations so far in the franchise, which was a great idea.
Right. Now we found out that it got mixed reviews from critics.
Right.
And it did very well at the box office. It was a $24 million budget, and it grossed over $200 million. So it did very well at the movies.
Right.
But as you mentioned, for some reason, there was no fanfare over it. We saw a couple commercials, like maybe a month before it was to be released.
Right.
But when it was in the theaters, there were no commercials saying it was there and go see it.
Right. After Now Playing, that was it. It just seemed like it wasn't even out anymore. Mm-hmm. And it didn't, get kicked out of theaters after so many weeks. It stayed in for the full 3-month run and got released on DVD accordingly. But it looks like, from what I'm hearing from the few reviews, like from the internet, it sounds like just people weren't into it. Because it kind of felt for a lot of people that it was a cliche plot. Like, for such a outlandish, iconic family, they went to something that was redundant, and for a lot of people it felt kind of clunky the way the story was. Like, they didn't really stand out as the Addams Family should, and that's why people did not talk about it. They felt as if it was somehow they made a boring movie out of them, and they just didn't talk about it.
Okay, 2 comments. 1, someone wanted to see it because it made $200 million.
Exactly.
And 2, I think this trope or this type of theme has been done so much, whether it be horror movies or horror comedies or rom-coms or seeing retro shows. I think it's being done so much that people are used to it, and because they're used to it, it doesn't make the same impression as it did when it originally came out as a TV show in the 60s, like It and the Monsters did.
Right.
It was new, it was different. It was something that hadn't been done, and both the Addams Family and the Munsters have played in syndication for decades.
Right.
On various channels, and people of all ages have seen them. So it's nothing that's different and new about it. So I think this is for people who really just enjoy this franchise, the characters, the different variations that exist, the live action movies, the original series, the TV movies, and there was also an animated series. I think it's just for people who really love the Addams Family.
Yeah.
And I liked the movie. We thought it was fun. We enjoyed it. It had a great all-star voice cast.
Right. And the story for us never felt that it was slow or anything. It's just like, for a minute we were like, oh, okay, they're going with this story, but that was it. But there wasn't a point in there where it was like they were phoning it in, like after you met them and then they got to that part that the movie stopped trying. It never stops trying the entire film. I think it's just for a lot of people, as you said, they're so used to it that when it gets to that part, it's going to feel like they slowed down or clunky or something, and it never happens. It's just too many people are used to it.
Right. And as I mentioned, they had a great cast. I thought all the people who were chosen to voice the characters fit. Charlize Theron was great as Morticia Addams. Oscar Isaac as Gomez. Chloe Grace Moretz also from Kick-Ass movies.
Right.
She was Wednesday.
Ben Wolfhard was Pugsley.
Sylvian. And Nick Kroll was Uncle Fester. Bette Midler, Conrad Vernon, even Snoop Dogg made an appearance. It was fun. You had a few more comedians, Martin Short, Jennifer Lewis, Catherine O'Hara. It was fun. I thought it was really fun, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there is a lot of effort into it, and they're made by people who were actually fans of the franchise and the movies and the comics and stuff, and not someone claiming to be it and changing everything around. It's just so
like Thunderdubbies.
Right. So it's clear that there were a lot of people who were fans of it, working on it and making it, and that's great. And like I said, we personally think it was a great film. We like that they went a little different by showing you how the family formed.
Right.
Because you got to see how because you wonder, how did Lurch get there? And then he was an insane person.
Right.
Like, shouldn't even be alive, but he is. And it was still creative. It was still kooky. And a lot of the jokes were still great because it was funny seeing how everyone was supposedly normal. And you know they weren't, because they act like it was the Stepford Wives or something half the time.
Right.
And then mixed with their type of weird and this type of weird. But somehow their type of weird is still strange.
And we're happy to say that there is a sequel planned for October of 2021.
Right.
Which is the perfect time for it to come out.
Right.
October 22nd, so right before that Halloween-themed weekend.
Right. And it came out in October in 2019 as well. Mm-hmm. So I guess this is going to be a theme if they keep making films for this particular animated franchise.
And when you're listening to this, it will be October that it will be airing.
Right.
So we thought it was great. And this is one of the reboots, I think it's called a reboot. That was a good idea. Mm-hmm. They did it very well with it. And you can tell they took a lot of care and a lot of time making it. It wasn't something thrown together just to make a buck. Mm-hmm. You could, as you said, you could tell these people really love the franchise and the characters and the original concept. And it comes through in the movie itself.
Right. And there are some bonus features on there, and they even have some scenes that didn't make it into the film, which aren't complete losses. So they even made good decisions on stuff that had to be cut that would probably slow the movie down or would make it drag on and stuff. Mm-hmm. So there were even things that didn't make it in, and it made sense, like with The Incredibles, not to put them in there because I think it would partially impair the enjoyment of the film. Mm-hmm. Whether you're used to this type of plot or you just like Addams Family in general.
Right. So, if you've seen this movie, whether you saw it in the theaters or whether you rented it as we did from Redbox, let us know what you think in the comments below. And let us know what you basically think of the Addams Family. Right. We put out another podcast last year on the movies, mm-hmm. and we were surprised that there weren't as many people who really were into it as we thought would be. Right. So we hope it's different for this movie. Let us know who your favorite character is. Were you surprised by the guest appearances with people such as Snoop Dogg? Right. Just let us know what you really loved about this movie, or if you didn't, why.
Right. Oh, and we definitely have to mention, while we can't go into detail about all the story because, of course, spoilers, because there's a chance that not everybody has seen it, right. We definitely would like to mention that we like the interactions with the Addams and all the townspeople, because, yes. like I said, the town's already weird because like everyone's got to be the same and stuff, but then when they come in, they think some things are strange, but they're still trying anyway. But it's like, no, these people are nuts. I think you're the sane ones in this movie.
And the premise we forgot to mention is that Morticia and Gomez thought they should move from New York to New Jersey, a place that they said you wouldn't be caught dead in. That's right. What they said in the movie. Right. And we couldn't believe it. Oh my God.
Right. That was hilarious. And when they would have these gothic things or stuff that I guess it'd be emo and stuff, it would fit right in with them. They thought that would be like the normal thing for them until they saw people be cheery. Right. It was hilarious, especially with the daughter there. They have this woman who runs I guess something like HGTV, since that's trending right now with the houses and renovations. Right. She's trying to renovate the entire town, and like I don't know how that'll do for your ratings, but okay. But it was hilarious seeing them interact with them.
And she was voiced by Allison Janney.
Yes.
That's the star of the TV show Mom.
Well, oh my gosh, that's funny. And what was hilarious about this Wednesday, I wanted to see what it would like to be normal.
Right.
And because she didn't know what it was, because doing the glooming stuff had to be the norm thing for them. So being the opposite was kind of like their way of being gloomy in the reverse order, because she was actually liking the stuff that was new and normal and stuff. And when she would put her own things in, it was always hilarious how people would react. Like they had we could definitely tell where they had the frogs. You had to dissect the frogs in class. I don't know if you guys ever had to do that. I thankfully never had to. And she actually built like a mini lab, and she did this Frankenstein thing and brought all the frogs back to life.
Hilarious.
And she made them all attack the mean girl.
Yes, there are some great scenes. There's a lot of really dry humor and some dark humor and just some really fun humor. There's a mixture of different types there, and it works.
Right.
So again, let us know what you think in the comments below.
Right. And be sure to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell to get updates on new Paws On Animation podcasts.
Yes.
And thank you so much for watching. I'm Mascot Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
With the Addams Family.
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky.